Okay, quick Monday morning radar update. So, gap up this morning. Let's just have a quick look. 250 small caps through the opening range, FTSE 100 through the opening range, DAX range bound, pretty strong gap up there. So let's just quickly, get a view. DAX just basing out at all-time highs. One of the most, dare I say it, most bullish setups you will ever see in stocks. As for markets, it looks pretty good. FTSE 100, though it really does not register on the list of things we follow for growth stocks, being the way it's weighted, pretty normal action there. You can see it's just, I'm going to do one of those twisted, diagonals there. People will be drawing it all the way out, all the way up here and going, whoa, look at the big line on this thing. Yeah, it's just normal digestion. We don't need lines on the chart to see what it's doing. So moving on from that 250. Yeah, it's, there's a little flag there just below the highs. This thing hasn't even broken out yet, but we've had a fantastic run in stocks and small caps. What can we say? Just looks really good. Let me just turn that off. Pullbacks will happen. Are we seeing the beginning of one? Well, not yet in small caps, we're not, are we? Because it's right there at highs. So you never know where you are in the... And a more important thing is, people will go, well, it's gone that far. Because it's gone that far, if we look in the past of the last so many years, it should pull in now. And that's probably, if you're a growth investor and you start manipulating your own portfolio due to what you think the market should do, the other side of that coin is, the mother of all bull markets, what you're in the game for, what hasn't happened yet but could happen, immediately you're light on the best market moves. So, there's a reason the trend follower catches big trends, because they don't, sell into strength. They just trail their risk management behind them is the best way of putting it, and not in the noise. So they only get knocked out of the weakest stocks and they stay with the strongest ones. Moving on, back on piste. So let's just jump straight into the volume leaders this morning. Oh, one second before we go into the volume leaders. I don't know if I covered it last week, but our theme last week was, these treasuries. If you go back and watch the videos, these treasuries, TLT was basically all the way down. 52-week lows, is it? 52, yeah. And our view was, our view, my view, whatever, that this will correct itself, and correct itself it did on a huge swing. So wherever it goes nobody knows, but we're in the zone where it should correct itself, is basically the what we was basically talking about. So gold approaching the voodoo average, big channel down here. This short-term channel here, you can literally just do this now and say that is basically probably the biggest monthly bull flag in the markets at the moment, but not really bull flaggy, is it? But it's a big channel. Moving on. If gold starts hit the screens, it does not mean that stocks should not go up. It really doesn't. It's the biggest myth in the markets that the correlation is there. Gold tends to move out with the leading stocks. Has a little move. Some moves are better than others. A lot of moves turn out to just be like little. So if this is a primary gold trend, you know, this thing could easily sort of turn into something a little bit more like that, is what I'm trying to say. And be very normal action. See how I'm just manipulating that to suit my own needs. Let's move into the volume leaders. Hopefully the sun stays out today, or comes out. It's not out yet. And I'm going to walk away from the screens again. So it's just gone 9 o'clock, a little bit earlier than usual. We should have traded 13% to be on average volume. That would be about 19% to be on conviction. We are on volume this morning. There is no doubt about it. There's quite a few stocks moving in the large caps. I'm going to order those by sector. Try to anyway. And we've got a healthy mix is the best way of putting it. And I'm now just going to jump straight into the small caps, and I'm going to run those first because most people will be interested in the small caps first. And I forgot already how many we should have had. 13% I said, didn't I? 13%. So small caps pretty good as well. Let's just have a look in there. A healthy mix. Very, very mixed. So not in order of volume, just in order of sector. We'll go on these, or shall we flip it? Let's flip it. We'll go in order of volume. I do run them in order of volume, sort of just as the range posts, but when I do this, I do like to go in sector, but I get through them faster if I go in sector, because sectors I'm not interested in. I'll just flip through. So XLM ticking up. It's a return to pre-tax profit. Very slim tick up in the turnover on that one. No forward numbers on this one. Nothing on these. Return to growth, return to profit on that one. Looks like it's got news out today. Moving on. Great forward numbers. I don't know when these numbers are due. It doesn't look like. The trouble with stocks, what base out, and then sometimes they can price in these numbers and then they're trading towards different numbers and then they go to sleep on you and drift. So you can't avoid that, but this one does look like one what's turned into a sleepy stock. Obviously I'll be proven wrong next week. Usually the way it goes. RBN, probably the nicest base in the markets at the moment for me, but I'm already loaded. I will be adding above that line though. Portfolio allowing. Just throw that little disclaimer in. Boring stock, but I'm happy with that, you know. CNIC. So this one's come out of this big long base. It's looks like it's expected to have sort of well, first thing, it's ticking negative to positive on the earnings, on the pre-tax. It looks like a big acceleration in turnover. You can see the last quarter on quarter, half on half is on the pre-tax is solid, about 100%. So 108 it says here. Forecast earnings breakout, forecast profit breakout. Go and do your own research. I do see the weekly bull flag. So ticking up, trying to post a swing point, and it looks like it's on news. So no position here. Horizont. So, you know, the moon zone, this one went to the moon, and it tried to get past the moon a couple of times. The only thing what's sort of a little bit niggly for the people, well, for my style, is now it's gone reverse vol on the base, so you'd want it to tighten up in this right hand side and to get its trend on. This thing hasn't trended yet. You know, huge moves, I know that. It's volatile, huge moves. You know, I took a position for a trend. You know, the moon was here, I didn't sell it. I sold it here, I made a few coins. It based out a gain. Let's just put the logs, oh, it's on. It based out a gain, it did another moon shot. This one, the moon was the exact high. It took the lows out after that. Then it based out again and off it went again to the moon. So, you know, to quote Dave Landry, these sardines are meant for trading, not for eating. So, you know, at some point you might look back and go, I should have held for the trend, but at the moment just rotating is you know, to the moon people, is working out. The moon people, showing my age, I've had the moon people for a while. Moving on. So AAZ had a swing point last week. It's the first time it's kind of looked a little bit more interesting since the day I sold, I will add. You know, I sold over here. We rode this trend up here and I sold. So my view over here, it popped out this little you know, pullback here, right side of a big base, I will add. And big bases don't give big reward to risk. This is the problem. So, you know, the best case scenario for this, for the trend going forward, would be this base turns into, you know, this obviously broke trend, a huge haircut on the price of AAZ followed. You know, 60, lose half your money or more than half your money, obviously. You know, this is a little bit more respectable. You know, is that a base? Commodity related, twice as volatile as growth stocks, virtually always. So, you know, 40% base is still, you know, I'd rather be looking at a base, a left of a base here and a tighten up. You know, let it build up some pressure rather than just wide and loose swings. That would be, you know, if that coincided with gold wanting to sort of just start another move, yeah, that would be happy days. At the moment, I'm kind of avoiding the gold stocks because there's so many good, you know, it's not an across the board move, is it? It's one stock in the gold space does not make a gold trend. Gfinity, obviously you can see our sort of pullback sort of entry we noted back there. A little bit not really what I trade towards is the best way of putting that one. This one here, we noted the swing point on this day, and another one on here. It's holding out and it's trying to trade, and you might get a little base. This is what we call a base with supply. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of supply here. These people here have sat through a little bit of a pullback, and they're going to be slightly weaker holders. So minimal supply. It's not like you're looking at a band of supply what stretches out for a year, is it? No, it's a few days. Ignore it. So moving on. There's a few more to go yet. Remember, my job is to just get my portfolio, my trend growth portfolio loaded in trends, and I'll get knocked out of weak ones, and I want to try and get them working in the best trends in the market at this point in time. You know, when I see the great setup, great trend, great growth, I allocate my risk, blinkers on. So that's my job. One thing overrides that: the market trend model. and there's nothing wrong with that at the moment either. So I'll leave it there. I'll just do the small caps this morning, and obviously I'll come at the large caps this evening. There's going to be well, sometimes I hit them again just in the zombie hours around sort of lunchtime. 1 o'clock's a good time to run them again and just see what's holding up, because a lot will have a pop in the morning and then drift off into the afternoon. So 15 minutes is enough for anyone, I think, this morning, especially on a Monday. But it's nice to have volume on a Monday. Okay.